Firstly, in the administrator training, we're going to look at how you can add adjustment reasons. So I've got the charge screen open up, and you can see there's a adjustment reason drop down. Let's say if you want to add an additional adjustment reason to the list, this is how you can do that. So to add an additional adjustment reason, this is a drop down. So any drop downs in the system is actually a lookup. So we'll go to the lookup screen, and which is under the advanced setup, and just click on all lookups. So this brings up to the lookup screen. Now there are two tabs here, common lookups and billing lookups. Common lookups are mostly the patient lookups and also appointment or scheduler lookups. For any billing lookups that you need to add, like adjustment reason or anything on the billing side, you would click on the billing lookups tab. Now on the billing lookups tab, the second one here is adjustment reason code. So you can click here to add a new adjustment reason code. To add a new adjustment reason code, just hit the new lookup value on the top right hand side of the screen and enter the new value. So let's say I want to add a new adjustment reason named contractual adjustment. So just add the contractual adjustment as a value, and I'll enter the same in the value description, and also in the code too you can enter the same, and then we'll hit update to have that added. Now I'll go back into my chart screen, and I will just refresh the screen. And you can see now it has that contractual adjustment which I added on the list. So this is how you can add additional adjustment reasons. Next, we're going to look at how you can add additional line substatuses. Line substatuses are typically used for reporting purposes. So let's say if you want to classify a line with a particular status, you can use the line substatus for that. So you can see there's a drop down here for line substatus. Some line substatuses are auto-defined. For example, when you're posting denials, you would need to use the denied line substatus. That's from the posting screen, payment posting screen. Or if there's an insurance overpayment, system automatically would use a line substatus and put that line substatus to insurance overpayment for the line. Similarly, pre-collection and collection, when you generate a pre-collection letter or put a patient to collections, all the patient's lines will be put to the pre-collection or the collection line substatus. Now you can add your own custom line substatuses too. The way that you can do that is from the lookup screen. Again, we'll go back to the billing lookups tab. Look for line substatus. And over here you can see these are all the statuses that are added. Now let's say if you want to add a line substatus, you can hit the new lookup value and enter the new line substatus in there. So let's say I just want to use I want to add a line substatus which is billing hold. And I will hit the update, and so that line substatus billing hold is added. Now if we go back, and I'll just refresh the screen, and you would see now on the line substatus I've got that billing hold. So for any lines I want to use that status, I can select that status. So typically this is for classifying lines with a status, and primarily for reporting purposes. So let's say if you want to look at, okay, all claims that are in this billing hold line substatus, there are reports that you can run, such as the summary and counter line activities report, which is a charge report. You can look at all claims that you have or lines that have this line substatus selected. Next, we're going to look at payment types, how you can set up custom payment types. Now let me take you to the payment screen so we can understand what a custom payment types are. So when you're adding payments, you can see there are these different payment types you can select, like whether it's a co-payment, you select copay. If it's an insurance payment, you select that as claim, or you can also select co-insurance, self-pay, deductible. So these are the different payment types that you can select. This is a defined list. But if you want to add your own payment types, you can do that as well. So we'll go back to this all lookups tab, and as in this all lookups tab, we will scroll down and look for payment type. Now on the payment type, you can see these are all the different payment types that are already selected or added. So to add a new lookup type, click on the new lookup, and we can enter the value for the new type. So let's say we want to add a payment type as private pay. So I enter the value description, also it's private pay, and here you can select how do you want this payment type to behave. That's on the type drop down. You can select whether you need it to behave as a claim payment type, which is insurance payment type, or a copay type, deductible type, or a copay slash deductible type, or a self-pay type. So these are all the system defined payment types. So I want it to behave like something like a self-pay payment type, which means that I can apply it to just bill patient line. So I'm going to select self-pay, and I'm going to hit choose update for it to add that payment type. So that payment type is added, and it is defined as a type self-pay. Now when you go back to the enter edit screen, I'm going to go back, close out of this, and refresh the screen. So I'm going to reopen that screen. You can see that payment type private pay is added to the list now. So it'll behave just like a self-pay payment. This is how you can add your own custom payment types. The last item on the administrator portion we're going to look at is how you can set up auto patient payment posting. Now if you go under the advanced setup, there is billing options. The billing options, you can see there are various setups here. Just look for auto post patient payments. There are two options here, which is you can set to yes or a no. The default is always no. If you select yes, which is you can choose between two defined options, either apply on account balance or apply on account balance if date of service matches with payment date. First, let's see what this function really is. So this function is that whenever there is a posting, an insurance payment that is applied, after the insurance payment gets applied, or whenever after the insurance payment gets applied, when the line is put to a bill patient status, if the patient has an on-account money, if the patient has any credit money sitting on the patient's account, the system will automatically take that money and apply that to the patient's balances. Now this, you can use either of the two rules, which is you can have the system apply the on-account balance, which is without looking at a date, it just tries to apply the oldest balance to the oldest date of service. Or you can have the system apply on-account balance if date of service matches with the payment date, which means that only if the payment date and the date of service are the same would the system apply that on-account money to that date of service. So once you have set this option to yes, whenever a line is put to bill to patient after you post the insurance payments, whenever a line is put to a bill to patient status, the system will automatically start looking for payments, the on-account payments for the patient, And based on the rule that you've set here, either apply on account balance or apply on account balance if date of service matches payment date, based on the rule, it's going to start applying those on account money to the patient's balance. Just note, if for the system to apply, the line status should be in bill to patient. So after you post the insurance payment, the balance has to be in bill to patient status, which is bill to PT status. That's the lines that the system looks for and try to matches it with the on account balance. So that was all in the administrator part of the payment portion.